Hello, everybody. Welcome to session 18 of Changeling the Lost Viva Lost Vegas. We usually stream on the Onyx Path Twitch, but currently, due to Onyx Path Con, we're streaming here on friend of the channel, Dork Tales. And a big thank you to them for letting us do it.
And it's lovely to meet anybody who's a viewer of Dork Tales who's decided to join us tonight.
Before we get into it, as I mentioned, Onyx Path Con is going on over on the Onyx Path Twitch channel. Onyx Path is raising money for the Badana Group, and all proceeds from Start Playing raised over the weekend will go to them. If you want more information, you can visit the link in chat. Also, the current Kickstarter campaign for They Came from the RPG anthology has exceeded the goal. If you want more information about that, you can visit that here at the link in the channel. So for anyone who might not be a regular here, we usually start by going over the downtime actions that the player characters may have been doing between sessions. So let's go over what everyone's been doing over the last 3 days. Who wants to start?
I will.
Alrighty.
Alright, so my first downtime action was just heading out into the hedge and gathering goblin fruit. It's not anything crazy, it's nothing extra cool, but it is a bit of glamour that we're going to need. And I got 2. The second day, I went to reap some mortals of their sorrow. I went to a hospital and refilled my glamour. And then my third downtime, I went shopping. I went shopping at the Thorn Carnival, to be exact. And I wanted planning something a little weird tonight. But I wanted something to be able to shake a tail. And I acquired a new token. It's called the Mind Blower. And it looks like a crazy straw that you can blow into someone's ear, and it feels like getting maced while an air horn is blown right in your ear, and it leaves the recipient blinded and deafened, and on an exceptional success, also stunned.
Don't forget you can use that range too. It's just free when you throw it in someone's ear.
True.
Alrighty, who wants to go next?
I suppose I could go. Well, we're doing a heist tonight. A super smart time to do it because it's hunt night, but it's the night we got, so we're gonna do it. Mario DeSoto and Gustav, both of the nobles we're working with on this job, talked to us about us. They've got their employees in civilian clothes in different areas of the Monaco, and they'll be helping us out. I talked to them about it. The car's on the 10th floor. It was loaned out by its owner for this exhibit on Cotton Entertainment's film history, and it got in originally via crane after they removed a giant window to let it in. So there's no real way to get it out under normal means. Getting it out is our job. However, it looks like they'll be able to take out the security system while we're working, so that should at least clear the decks a bit.
It says we're taking an ad break.
All right. All right. Anyways, so second thing, I went to the hedge and scouted out the hotel hedge side. It looks like there's a big old trod going down the casinos, so we should be able to make use of that. That means that we can probably drive this thing out onto that trod and get it down to somewhere that's a little more our ground. And lastly, I looked for something to help with the driving that we needed to do, because I'm an okay driver, I'm not a great driver. And we picked up a little thing called Driver's Little Helper, which will mean that the driver gets an exceptional success on 3 instead of 5 on rolls to handle the vehicle, and removes any untrained penalties. So yeah. Should be fun.
Alrighty.
And for me, it was Kit really didn't do anything excessively weird. The first day spent digging out more of the hollow. So the Warren now has a storage room specifically for things that we need easy access to. Then on the second day, I did some scouting for the casino that we're going to rob. And basically, security is about what you'd expect for a casino. There's a few more people than security than usual from Cotton Security, and they're like high-end mall security, but nothing over the top. And on the third day, I spent the day just filling the storage area up with just a bunch of odds and ends, so that while we're out and about, we can just grab things from the hollow as needed.
All right.
Alrighty, so now that we've got that taken care of, let's jump right in. So tonight is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021, the night of the new moon, thus the night of the wild hunt. You guys have been planning this heist, presumably. So we're going to start you out today in the back of in Viscount Holder's art gallery. Duke DeSoto and both of their people are huddled around the table with a map as you all discuss the plan. One of the changelings working for Duke DeSoto brings up, isn't it the night of the new moon?
Yeah.
What are we going to do if the wild hunt shows up while we're here?
Best we can.
Get away. We're going to be in a fast car, and I've already planned a place that they're not going to be interested in looking, and I'm not sure they could get in there to drop the car off.
Viscount Holder waves a hand dismissively. Pish tosh. These fellows here took out most of the leadership for the bookbinders. Even if the huntsmen show up, they won't have much in the way of lackeys beyond some wild hobs.
So, also, one of you needs to go on D&D on Discord. Anyways, so here's the plan. You guys said you would be able to take out the security systems, which means that we'd have some time with the cameras off and some time to operate, where anything weird happening wouldn't be super trackable. Driving that thing off onto the city streets is impossible. There's a 10-foot end floor drop. There's no way to get it out there. However, there's nothing saying we can't drive it into the hedge. That same window they pushed it in will serve well as a hedge gate. So what we're going to do is get up the elevator, not have the cameras go off for as long as the time as we're in the building, drive the hijack the car, drive it through the plate glass. If there are people on the floor, I'm going to incite bedlam and get them running out the door, clear the spot, and then we just drive it all the way down the trod back to the Four Seasons. There, our driver is going to park the car inside the Four Seasons, which is sealed off from Changeling entry throughout the entirety of the new moon. The only people who are allowed in there are the Grimalkins, and they'll be taking good care of her.
Duke DeSoto raises one of his chromed eyebrows. So, are you expecting a Grimalkin to drive the car or something?
Ah, yes, we haven't introduced our driver. Bob?
Bob the Grimalkin, the small cat hobgoblin that he is, jumps up on the table and gives a little bow and says, "Hello."
This is Bob. Bob has been trained in, among other things, defensive driving as the professional bodyguard of the Saint of Cats. He, and only he, is able to enter the sealed off freehold during the night. So we pass the keys off to him, and he's able to put this thing beyond the reach of anyone who would wish it harm. You couldn't ask for a safer vehicle.
Duke DeSoto grimaces, his teeth showing. He's less than 2 feet tall. How's he going to work the pedals?
I hate to say this, sir, but are you familiar with the concept of stilts, sir?
I am not entirely sure I like this idea.
He only has to drive it into the lot, sir.
Yep.
Viscount Holder bursts into laughter. What a wonderful idea. This is going to be a piece of performance art in and of itself. I wish we could tape it.
I'm not sure we should leave evidence of a crime around, and besides, isn't art more beautiful if you're only there to witness the stories of it?
I assure you, Bob is a better driver than I am.
That's not saying much. Anyways, I'll be handling the mundane part of the driving. It just means that we have a place to put it where it can't be in harm's way after we get it down the trod. And I can't...
Fair enough.
And then, all you have to do is, when Hunt Night is over, come and pick up your beautiful ride, which will have been taken care of by all of our friends working that night. It'll be like it never happened.
DeSoto shakes his head. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to have people here and there on the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors, and on the casino floor if you need them. So will the Viscount. Viscount Holder nods. Yes, I'm going to have some people there as well. Although our presence in the 10th floor is going to be centered on the control room.
Of course.
If you need any assistance, look for the changelings.
Of course. All I'm going to really need is 2 things, fairly straightforward. 1, slow down any response you can by inconveniencing where possible, and contact us the moment the security systems are down. The less time we spend inside the casino proper, the easier this all goes.
We can do that.
What I hope to achieve is something like a magic trick. Here and gone in, say, 60 seconds. Though I wouldn't want to put a stopwatch out.
All right. Sounds like we've got a decent idea. Do we want to wait and do this until it's a bit later so there's fewer people, or do you just want to get it done with?
The exhibition is going to close at midnight, said Viscount Holder. I did look into that. Unfortunately for us, it is one night only. So if we miss our chance, the owner is going to be picking up the car in the morning to take it back to his garage.
I don't
Okay.
think he'll have the opportunity to do that. The issue with waiting is simple and straightforward. We need to do this at the very beginning of the night. Almost immediately, I would say. Because there is one thing that could make these plans difficult, and is if we pick up a huntsman before we've picked up the vehicle. I can handle him once we're on the road. We've got a very talented sniper who's going to be riding escort with us once we get inside. However, we do need to have the car in the hedge as soon as possible before we potentially pick up that tail. If he's already following us, it's going to be difficult to do a high-stakes heist. I'm sure you understand.
But surely the Grim Hunter's going to have better things to do than go after us.
Oh,
I fear that we may have personally pissed him off by being deeply involved in the whole matter with him not having any underlings left.
Yep.
And he seems the sort to take a personal grudge, so I'm not counting out any bad possibilities. That's why I want to have the car exposed to any difficulties for as little time as possible. Once it's stashed away, we can deal with whatever's going on.
All right, says Duke DeSoto. So, when do you want to get started? We've got until midnight to pull this off.
All right. Well,
3 hours.
when does it... So,
yeah, so it's 9 o'clock.
We
Well,
should
honestly-
probably go now.
the sooner we
Yeah.
get started, the better, I feel. So, is everything ready? Are your guns properly loaded? Is your bird awaiting us where we plan to emerge?
Yep. And I spent all day yesterday setting up things so that we have a bunch of things to react with. So I'm all set.
I'm as good as I can be. I've got a bag full of things that people would prefer I didn't throw at their faces set up in here. I tap a duffel bag and then open it up a handful of what looks like raw meat in my hand, and it emerges clean. And my alternative ride if I have to provide some distractions or when we inevitably bail out of the car. The electric scooter that has recently come to life seems to appreciate the snack and makes a slightly weird electrical clicking sound.
And I have a bag full of glamour fruit.
All right. Well, when your men are in position, we're going to head on over there. I think we're going to need to take an Uber. I don't want to have to try and find my vehicle after this.
Okay. So, any preparation that you guys want to do before we move into the casino?
Before we go in, I'd like to cloak of dark us.
I'm gonna be I'm going to be stashing my weapons till we get through security, at least.
All right. Anything else?
Um. Oh. Hey. Kenzie. Say cheese. I take out a Polaroid camera and take a picture of Kenzie, concentrating on the next dangerous thing that could happen. This is the contract Portents and Visions. I tear the photograph in half and try and think of the next bit of violence we expect to occur. All right.
Alrighty.
That's, I believe, wits plus occult. Let me triple check that. All right. So, portents and visions, manipulation plus occult. Even better. I'm such a clever boy, and I remember everything. All right. All right, 3 successes. That's perfectly fine. So we are about to see a vision of the next dangerous thing that could happen to Kenzie more in here, and yeah.
Alrighty. Elliot has a brief vision of a security person in a baseball cap and one of those blazers with the company logo on it, pulling a taser on Kenzie.
All right, so if that were to happen, you will now have the giant merit for the purposes of the scene.
Excellent.
Let's try and make it not happen. I'd love to have wasted my glamour.
All right. And are you guys going in any sort of disguise or anything like that?
I think we're going in mostly invisible.
Yeah, I did remember that you guys were doing Cloak of Shadows.
So the outside of a Las Vegas hotel is usually lit up like a Christmas tree. But there are not so much lighting inside. I think that there's plenty of dark places we can be moving around in. So that should be relatively easy to stealth our way over to an elevator, get up to the right floor, and move towards the car. All right. Lex, is there a cost or a roll for Cloak of Night?
No.
All
No.
right. Awesome. So that just lets us blend in mostly invisible, and that should make it very easy to get up to the top floor. Well, not top, 10th floor.
All right. So, you guys, how are you going to get there, by the way? You did mention an Uber, but you also mentioned specifically that you wanted to cast Cloak of Night now.
I think we're going to ask Cloak of Night. We'll just take an Uber to a little ways down from the casino. Walk the rest of the way. Cloak of Night on the path.
Alrighty. So, after finding a nice dark alcove to use Cloak of Night in, the three of you head towards the Monaco. The place is lit up even brighter than normal. There is an awning with 2 lines of palm trees on either side, going into the front door. Under the awning is a sign stating "Tonight, one night only. Cotton Entertainment History and Film Exhibition, 10th floor. It does appear that more people are here than normal, and you can occasionally see a couple of security people making sure that the crowds are handling things appropriately, going either directly to the casino floor or to the 10th floor or one of the hotel rooms. So from here, do you want to go in the front door or what?
I'm gonna be real with you. Moving around in shadows and being invisible is going to be a lot easier through a crowd, I think. They're trying to find a lack of face moving through a crowded space is probably going to be easier than trying to find some alcove where someone might be paying more attention. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. It's
You make
trying
a
to think of
stealth roll to help us find a way through the crowd without drawing much attention.
Yeah, that would be dexterity plus stealth, and of course the bonus from Cloak of Night. That is half your weird rounded up and bonus dice. Which I believe is just one for you, Kenzie.
Damn.
Oh, that's an exceptional success. So the three of you make your way through the crowd, managing to keep from being trampled, considering that there's a ton of people and none of them can see you. You make your way successfully towards the line where security are separating people out. Being invisible means it's simple to step to the side of that line and simply follow along. You find yourself on the casino floor. It's more dimly lit in here, with the carpets done in one of those old classy Persian patterns, with small potted palms everywhere to go along with the Monaco theme. Most people are heading to the casino floor, but a surprisingly large number of people are heading towards the elevators and the stairs to the 10th floor. Looking around from where you're at, you can see a handful of changelings dotted here and there in the crowd. They do not appear to be actively looking around for anything, which, as you understand, helps them not to stand out.
All right.
So, do you plan? How do you plan to proceed from here?
Okay, so I believe they said. Okay, I believe you just said that there's a lot of people using the elevators, so I don't think sneaking onto the elevators is going to be that viable, because in a crowded space, people are going to notice somebody who isn't there who's there, especially with three of us. And I don't feel like getting separated, because that means we lose our invisibility. So that means the stairs. We're fast, but we're not that fast. So we're going to take a minute getting up the stairs. So why don't we... They said there would be somebody off on the 9th floor for both of our compatriots. So why don't we stop... So why don't we stop off on the 9th floor, find the person who's nearest to the staircase, tell them we need them to take down the security system, go back to the stairs, airs on their cue, and go up and get ready to do the smash and grab ASAP after that. We can expect security to respond the moment that the security system goes down, so we're going to want to be as tight as possible on those two things. Kenzie, you need to get into the driver's seat and start the car by any means necessary. We need your eyes and ears for anything weird happening and shutting it down ASAP. App Kit, and I'm going to be the wild card here, and I'm going to be getting ready to jump into the seat and drive. We cool?
We cool.
The other thing to look out for is we need to find the window we're driving out through. So if you lay eyes on it, make sure everyone else knows where it is unless it's incredibly obvious. There's a single window big enough for this thing to drive through. We're going to have to find it. All right. So we're going to take the stairs up to the 9th floor.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to say 9 flights of stairs is a bit of a feat. So here's how I think we're going to do it. You have a limited time frame. So, considering that it was 9 when you left, let's say it's about 9:30 now. Walking up 9 flights of stairs is going to take some time. So, either you guys can take your time and go nice and slow, and that will take 30 minutes, but I'm not going to require any rolls. You can hurry up the stairs, take 10 minutes or 5 if you get exceptional successes, or just pay a willpower, and I'll say that you ran up the steps and won't make you roll.
I pay a willpower.
I pay a willpower.
Yep.
All right, so the 3 of you run up the steps and get through the 9 flights of stairs in record time.
We need to stay together as a team, so I can't do anything clever. We just got to make this happen.
Luckily, not a lot of people were on the staircase with you. Most people seem to be going for the elevators, so it wasn't hard to avoid anyone.
This is Vegas. Nobody's sober enough for 9 flights of stairs.
All right. So you are outside of the door leading to the 9th floor.
All right.
Can I ask everyone to make a perception check?
Yeah. Give me a sec.
Everyone's favorite roll. All right, so that's wits plus composure, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Plus any bonuses from weird.
Yep, you'll get 2 if you're weird, if your clarity is high, because we're changelings. So that gets me at an 8. 1 success with all those dice. I'm on fire tonight, by which I mean, you know, the kind where you're screaming and running around panicked.
Welcome, Raiders.
Hey,
Yes.
welcome in here, Rolling Nomads. Lovely to have you. We're stealing the car from Gone in 60 Seconds from a casino. Come stay with us for a minute.
Yeah, this isn't normally our channel, but thankfully Dork Tales was kind enough to let us borrow the channel since Onyx Path is currently streaming something else.
But
Well, Onyx PathCon, I would call that a little more than something else, but...
yep. But thank you for joining us. All right, so with all that going on, I guess we're looking for... we just rolled perception checks. Lex, did you get yours in?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Looks like 3 for Lex, 3 for Kit, and 1 for me.
Okay. Everybody succeeded.
Hi, Onyx Path Raiders. Glad to have you.
So,
Alrighty.
the first thing that you note is the bustle and noise going on from the floor above. You could also swear that faintly you hear a very familiar click click like a cane on tiles from somewhere above you.
The need for speed just increased. We're going to need to do this smooth. A real Italian job.
If we ain't fast, I'm gonna be furious.
Yeah, we've got a real need for speed here. Okay, so let's get going. We try and find a changeling on this floor to get this to communicate that we need the security system to go down.
Yeah.
All right. So, the ninth floor is mainly hotel rooms and staff only logistics rooms. Looking for a changeling on this floor doesn't take all that long, all things considered. Most people are either heading to their rooms or heading out from their rooms for the night. You find a spring changeling, a beast, calmly smoking a cigarette by the window and looking out at the Vegas skyline.
Hey there. Got a light?
He jumps briefly before turning around. You got something on? I can't see anyone here.
Hey, so you were waiting for somebody? We're that somebody. Could you tell whoever you need to tell that we need the security system to go off?
Got it.
I'm sorry, I'm not interested in appearing on cameras tonight.
To turn off, not go off.
You know what I mean.
Just making sure that we're precise on that.
Yeah. Anyways, turn off the security system. We're going to be heading upstairs as soon as that's ready to go.
Got it. Should I tell him to drop it ASAP or at a specific time?
60 seconds.
All right. I'll let him know. And he heads off.
And we run.
Alrighty. So, I assume since you mentioned running, you're heading for the stairs again?
Yup.
Dexterity plus athletics, everybody.
Fuck yeah.
I'm gonna grab my my shotgun and from my bag. As we go.
All right, 3 successes.
Said athletics plus dexterity.
3 successes.
Hold on a sec. Sorry.
All right.
Wow.
So,
Did we all got the same? Hey, cool. Look at that.
so the group heads up the stairs and onto the convention showroom floor. Here, around the stairs, there doesn't seem to be much going on. There's a lot of noise that you can hear from the main area. Here, there's just 1 or 2 people stopping to chat or smoke a cigarette somewhere they shouldn't be. You can see the area getting a little more crowded as it goes. It looks like the hallway wraps around into a main large ballroom. From here, you can see inside of it. It looks set up a little bit like a convention. It's a one huge room with partitions like cubicle dividers here and there. You're catching glimpses of dozens of people gathered around various objects and cases on stands with Cotton Entertainment employees in their little polo shirts and khakis, passing out information and telling everyone about them. This area is pretty crowded, not packed. You would definitely be able to make your way through here comfortably without bumping into anyone most of the time. But it is pretty full considering it's almost 10 o'clock. At this point, it would be about 9:50.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's find our vehicle. Hey, Eagle Eyes.
Yeah. Can I go look around, glance around the room, see if I can see the car?
Be my guest. Head out, perception or investigation.
I think I'm going to do perception.
Would you like some assistance with that?
Yeah, sure.
Since we're just looking at things, that seems pretty mundane.
Doesn't get much more mundane than that. All right.
Wow, 11 dice and I rolled 1. Well, enjoy your 1.
Oh, no, sorry, oh, shoot, I messed up. Sorry. I saw Kenny's roll and thought it was yours. Let me re-roll that.
Here's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That was a willpower. That squares up the dice neatly, and we don't have to lose the 7 successes.
Yeah,
we'll allow that.
Yeah.
After all, we're about to get at you guys some real dynamo for throwing yourselves into a car in the middle of a convention floor and driving it through a plate glass window.
Yeah. All right.
If you guys don't take your dynamo from that, I don't know what you're going to get it from.
Yeah, it's going to be 7 successes.
Okay. So the first thing Kit notes here is a very muted click coming from a room farther away. There are a few changelings looking around. You suddenly think to yourself that perhaps being invisible to your support is not all it's cracked up to be. The car that you came here for, a gray 1970s sports car with black stripes, is set up on the center under a spotlight. There are 2 security guards on the car and 3 different Cotton Entertainment personnel handing out information and going over the history of the car and the movie that it was in. A 1967 crime thriller called In the Blink of an Eye. A real iconic movie that was recently remade.
All right. So, I'm invisible, right? That's how I believe this works. I'm going to stroll right up to the edge of the thing. So, did we see the window this thing came in through?
With an perception roll like that, you would, yeah. On the west side of the building, there is a large ballroom window. Basically, the entire wall is glass. It's set so that it looks directly over, it was the west wall, I said, I believe, So it would be looking out directly towards the direction of the sunset. The only problem here is that there are several exhibits in the way. So multiple layers of cubicle partition and showgoers and people.
So there isn't a straight drivable path there.
You could simply drive through it. You get the feeling that it probably wouldn't put up much of a resistance. But in terms of protecting the car, no, there is not.
Okay. So, I fear that it is time to get every slightly bit loud. You guys prepared for a little loud?
Let's go loud or go home.
All right. So here's what's going to happen in order of operations. You and Bob are going to head for the vehicle and work on getting that started right after I set off Bedlam. Then you and I are going to go clear the path of both people and objects. I have a little thing called Touch of Wrath, which will help me smash things up on the way there.
I'm going to set off some fireworks.
Whatever we need to do to clear this path, it doesn't look like any of it isn't movable by human hands, and I feel like a little bit of damage from Touch of Wrath will basically clear our path out. All right? Anyways, so let's talk about Incite Bedlam. Changelings have a particular weird ability to just kind of throw emotion out freely at everybody who happens to be nearby. So I'm going to be doing that. And today's emotion, I think terror. How are you guys feeling about terror? Terror sound good?
Terror sounds good.
There, sounds good.
All right. And with that, yep, I'm allowed to spend additional glamour to make this more effective. I'm going to spend 4 additional glamour, which means that I will be rolling a pool of manipulation plus weird plus 4, which will get me up to 8. I'm hoping that's enough.
All right. So what are you rolling?
Manipulation plus weird versus composure plus weird, which is done separately by each target.
All right. So this is your Incite Bedlam roll.
Yes. Terror should get people running. The more confusion, the harder it is for security to figure out what's going on. So maybe they'll just leave.
Am I allowed to roll to assist on that?
It's already been rolled, so I'm going to have to say no.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And let's see. It's an opposed roll here, right?
Yep.
I'm not going to roll once per target because then we'd be here all night just making this roll. So I'm just going to make one big roll for everybody.
Come on. 3 beats 2.
All right. And what is your spring? So the court's favorite emotion is desire?
Yes, but I'm allowed to choose the emotion I wanted to do. And I simply chose terror. I just don't get the modifier for grabbing an emotion associated with my chord.
All right. So, Elliot reaches deep within him and pulls out substantial reserves of utter fear, releasing it into the air around him. Bear with me just a moment. I want to check here and make sure whether this would, whether you can selectively not target your friends.
Target. I'm skimming through it right now as well. I don't.
All you
don't
guys
see
would have
it.
to close your eyes and ears. You have to sense me to do it. So if you guys know I'm going to do it, just you could have covered your eyes and ears before I did it.
This power targets anyone who can sense the changeling and cannot distinguish between friend and foe. The changeling cannot choose to selectively remove targets from the effect, nor direct the effect at a small group of targets out of a crowd. Once per scene, a player may choose to have his character involuntarily incite bedlam to gain a beat. Inciting bedlam this way does not cost glamour or willpower, but the changeling has no control over what emotion she unleashes, which is instead at storyteller discretion. Considering this is the plan, if you wanted to block out your senses, I'm going to allow it, but it simply says anyone who can sense the changeling, so you're going to need to block them all. Otherwise, I'm going to make you roll too.
Eyes and ears, people.
And nose.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't think I smelled that strongly of alcohol.
All right. So you've
actually, I've got Mantle 5. I probably smell very strongly of alcohol.
So you've inflicted the frightened condition on the crowd. There are a couple of targets who are going to need to roll independently. Bear with me just a moment.
The crowd is the people I'm worried about.
And pretty much anybody that is going to be able to have the ability to really resist more than the crowd, probably someone we want to deal with directly anyway.
Speaking of which, if anyone's still standing, they're your problem now. I did everything I could.
Okay.
That's a failure.
All right. And so the crowds, you can feel the unease rising in the crowd until someone shouts something unintelligible. And you hear half a dozen different cries of fire, he's got a gun, etc., etc. And suddenly the crowd is gone insane, all trying to push past each other in order to get away. Pure animal panic. So, Kenzie.
Yes.
You feel the weight of the weird upon you. A clash of wills is being called. Pick one of your finesse attributes plus weird to roll. In this case, it'd be wits, dexterity, or manipulation. And to be perfectly honest, I think any of them would be appropriate for this circumstance.
Pick your favorite.
So just my attribute plus weird?
Yep.
Can I willpower and reroll?
I'll allow that, or you can take a beat and make it dramatic.
Hey.
2 successes.
Oh.
Oh.
3.
That's not good.
All right. As the crowd parts and begins running. Let's see. I also have 2 other targets real quick that need to make this roll.
Passes. Of course. Fails.
The crowd's running. The 3 of you are focused on the car. As the crowd parts, you see that one of the security guards near the car remains. His gun is out and he's on high alert. But he's not the one that that's drawing your eye. Standing directly in front of the car, leaning on his cane and picking some lint off his sweater, is the bespectacled gentleman. He looks up and claps eyes directly on Kinsey, smiling as he looks through the cloak of shadows.
I don't suppose you'd be willing to have this fight in like 60 seconds on the other side of reality, would you?
The huntsman cocks his head, the light shining off his steel gray hair. May I ask you to elaborate?
Listen, we're about to Listen, I'm doing this as a favor for a friend, and I care mostly about getting the car out of here, and I'm totally expected to run into you. But I was really hoping we could do this on the other side of that plate glass window in like 30 seconds or so. But I understand you're here on a job. Give me just a second, I'm going to clear the path for us. Anyways, Kenzie, you're up. By the way, we're about to square up with a one of the security guards here, so I believe that means you are now giant.
The security guard shouldn't be able to see me.
Yeah, but the security guard is involved in the fight still, so I think that counts.
Okay.
Either way, Kit, would you mind clearing the path for us? I have to go clear the path slightly more literally.
You know I only have lethal options, right?
Just move people. Push them.
Are we caring about Cotton's security now?
Oh.
They are dudes doing a job.
Fair enough. You two figure it out. I gotta go clear some billboards.
Okay, give me a sec. Do I have
Hey, Kenny, does this car have a roof?
Yes. It's not a convertible. It's one of those muscle cars.
Are the windows down at all?
No, they are not.
Is the security guy standing on the passenger side or the driver's side?
Give me a chance roll. Driver's side.
Do you need in the car? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
Okay. Kenny, I spend a glamour. The glass window opens.
All right. Elliot snaps his fingers, and the glass of the windshield parts and rolls away like paper. The nearby guard jumps backwards, his gun out in surprise.
Is he facing? Sorry, go ahead.
He's facing the windshield. The bespectacled gentleman watches in mild perplexity. You say that you're here to do a favor for a friend. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll have you know that while I don't have any friends, I do have a colleague, and this colleague is extremely upset at you.
Of course. He has every reason to be. Hey, keep talking. I have a little work to do, but we can He can communicate while we're doing it. I walk over to the thing and start punching through the debris with my bare hands. So Touch of Wrath is a contract that allows you to damage objects very effectively using ints, crafts, plus weird. I think everything involved in this sounds really cheaply made and not likely to resist a lot of force, so I think I'm going to be able to knock this stuff down fairly easily. So hopefully it won't have a lot of HP. Yeah. That's ints plus craft plus weird. I don't have a lot of int. I'm very dumb. Alright. So that's going to be a grand total of 8 dice. Let's hope that looks nice today. Exceptional success.
Okay. While this is happening, I'm gonna pull my rifle out, and load a Jenny Stone shot into it.
The bespectacled gentleman watches in interest as Elliot punches his way through the nearby partitions, sending movie props and cheap plastic partitions flying. The gentleman scratches under his chin with his cane and says, I would like to note, the three of you seem to be taking my cooperation for granted here.
To be honest, I'm ready to do violence as soon as you want to, but you seem to be willing to talk, so I've just been talking. The moment you want to do violence, we can get to the violence. I just wasn't in a hurry about it.
I take it that considering the actions that you are engaging in currently, you plan to do something with this car.
Yes, that was the plan.
While this is going on, Kenzie climbs in through the windshield, still under cloak of night.
And I'm aiming at the huntsman. So I'm taking the aim action.
We kind of assumed violence was going to break out at some point. I have no need to start it if you're not going to. And several times you've come here to talk, so if we're talking, we're talking. If we're fighting, I mean, that's what we gotta do, right?
Bear with me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed impolite to swing first. You've always seemed a respectable sort.
Bear with me, I'm having to check some stuff in the rules.
This isn't gonna go well.
It was never going to go well. The only thing we can do is do our best to make sure it goes as well as we can manage.
Yeah. At the very least, it'll be fun.
To be honest, I'm just glad that we managed to put off the start of combat rounds as long as this has. He seems to be so perplexed by the fact that we're not drawing on him that he hasn't swung yet, and if I got us around enough for me to clear the path, then I'm going to call that a victory, even if the next round involves my teeth going through the window. So, no matter what happens, we're going to be in a fight as soon as we get out through the window glass here. You are ready for that, right?
Yep.
Because
the hawk should be waiting on the other side, ready to assist.
All right, Elliot, Roll your composure, please.
Composure. Alright. Just composure? Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Fun. Alright.
That's not good.
Well,
Oof.
sounds like a failure to me. I'm not interested in re-rolling 3 dice.
The bespectacled gentleman sighs and says, as a man of honor, the only thing I'm willing to concede is that I will not harm the car, as that is your objective. But my master and my colleague, the Grim Hunter, are both very upset with the three of you. Tonight is the night of the wild hunt, yet here you are. I'm going to give it my best effort to bring at least one of you into the Grand Library tonight. He looks over his glasses at Elliot, and his eyes briefly grow green. Watchful gaze. As you lost the contested roll, gain the paranoid condition.
It's all going to shit. Well, you've seemed so polite so far. Hopefully, we can begin this in earnest in just a moment. You got that car started?
Been given a chance to roll yet.
All right.
That was an in-character thing, not an out-of-character thing. Sorry.
Kinsey, roll me dexterity plus streetwise or larceny for hot wiring the car.
Hydrate, everybody. Hydrate comes in a little glass vial.
As soon as the car starts,
Exceptional
I
success.
Thank you, Ding Dong Bimbo. Appreciate you.
as soon as the car starts, I pull the trigger.
Holy crap!
All right. That is an exceptional success on the hot wiring roll. The car purrs to life. The security guard jumps to the side, his gun raised. So let's resolve this before we make our initiative roll. Let's resolve the rest of this surprise round.
Oh, there's +1 for the aim action that I took. Okay, didn't make a difference. All right. So, using the Jenny Stone round, I got a total of 3 successes with the sniper rifle, which is a 5 damage rifle.
Alrighty. It's been a while since we've done any honest-to-God combat, so bear with me a moment while I take a look at the armor.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's denied his defense because you're using a firearm, but he will get his armor properly.
Yes.
He's got bulletproof armor that's going to be reduced to bashing and lose however many points of armor he's got, if I remember correctly. But Kenny's checking on that and will correct me in a minute. So, guys, the moment we're out of here, this is going to get real serious, real fast. We're going to want to make sure he's not aiming at the vehicle as best we can. Kenzie, do you mind covering Bob while you drive?
Can do.
I brought my scooter. I know it's not super fast, but I figure in the hedge, speed is relative. We're not exactly going to be able to floor it down a trod.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heavy T. We've got a close quarters difference of opinion.
Make sure to lock the doors and close the windows once you're inside. Otherwise, you can just step in.
Yep.
I promise you I'll close the window in a second.
All right, so we've got 8 points of lethal damage.
All right, let me see here. Jenny Stone and
Yeah, I remember the Jenny Stone rounds do something special.
They smell
so
terrible.
they only do bashing. First off, however, they have result in a cloud of gas 1 meter in diameter that concentrates on the and it's concentrated Jenny Stone stench dissipated the sick tilt.
Nice. Alright, so we're throwing a tilt on him, which is sick. I believe I've got that written down here somewhere.
All right.
And if they breathe it in again, they get the beaten down tilt. Oh no, sorry. Since sick at a moderate level, if it happens to them again, and on a third time, then they get the beaten down.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's go.
So, in order, Kit fires the Jenny Stone round at the bespectacled gentleman. He takes 4 points of bashing damage and is engulfed by the cloud. He immediately starts coughing. The security guard, surprised by Kinsey under the cloak of night, hot wiring the car and beginning to gun it, is going to fire wildly. Let's see if this manages any sort of hit.
This ain't good. I mean, we can repair bullet holes, right?
Listen, we're getting chased by a huntsman. If we end up with a single bullet hole in this and somebody wants to yell at me about it tonight, they can go fuck themselves.
Fair enough.
Also, we've got the cats ready to receive this thing and do some repair.
Word.
Let's not get it busted up, but I figure a little moderate body damage isn't going to be too bad.
All right. So a bullet hits the car, but misses Kinsey. So, top of the action order. Let's everyone roll initiative here.
Alrighty.
I'd like to pay a glamour for the. Hold on, let me figure out which one it is.
I think I might be going first. We're close to it.
Yeah, if you want to cast a contract to affect your initiative, you'll need to do that after we get started, because you took your action by hot wiring the car.
All right.
Okay.
So, looks like that's a 16 for me.
And I'm sitting at 19.
All right.
What does it mean if you roll a success when you roll an initiative?
Just means you rolled well.
All right. Looking through here. It got 19. Elliot, what's your initiative modifier?
6, my apologies.
Elliot got 16. Kenzie got 15. And so did the bespectacled gentleman. And let's go ahead and roll for the security guard, although this poor man is in quite a bit of trouble considering he can't see anyone but the gentleman. That's 6. Okay. Kit, you will be going first.
All right. So we need a bit of time to get the car out of here, right?
So you're not willing to shoot the security guard, is my understanding.
Correct.
Could you go
He's
open the door then?
I got a better idea.
Okay.
You're right. You're right there to open it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to load up a jack dagger round and shoot the huntsman if I have enough time in my turn to do that.
All right. What kind of action is loading your gun? I think that's.
I believe it's a free action, but let me triple check.
So characters.
185.
Should we really take that note down so we don't have to keep asking?
All right. I'm not seeing it. Did you see it?
Reload a weapon. If rounds must be loaded individually, lose defense until your next turn.
I'm seeing short burst, medium burst.
185 other actions right above unarmed violence on the left-hand side between kill and drop prone. It sounds like this is an individual round you're loading, so you lose your defense this round.
Okay.
And these are all instant actions?
Yes. So I believe that won't consume his turn.
Okay. So let's roll some dice here. So it's 8. Okay. That is 5 successes plus damage rating of 5. And the jack dagger. Okay, so he's now also immobilized instead of doing damage, and the target is drained of number of glamour equal to what the damage would have been after applying armor.
So, let's see. Bear with me while I do some math.
Yeah.
All right, you rolled a 5, and your rifle has damage rating of 5.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
All right. He is currently immobilized. And after applying armor, that would be, there's a number of jack dagger goblin fruits, 6 of them.
That is 6 of his whatchamacallit, glamour that he doesn't have anymore. And these guys have to get it the hard way.
Alrighty. Next in the initiative order is Elliot. Remember, you are now paranoid.
Everything's going to go to hell. Everything's going to go to hell. I need to get out of here. I need to get at the door open. I need to get through this because the longer we're here, the worse it's going to get. I slam my hand to the plate glass window and open up the hedge gate.
Alrighty. The side, the windowsill glows faintly green as the transparent glass thorns of the hedge grow around it. The security guard watches in awe as the gate into the hedge opens. On the other side of the hedge, this casino is sunk about 6 floors into the ground, in the middle of the thorns, with a large trod leading directly to it. The guard is watching in slack-jawed amazement.
They'll never believe you. They'll never believe you. If you tell anyone what you've seen today, they'll never believe you. I pull my scooter out and dive into the gate.
Okay, Kinsey, your turn. Although I think I have a good idea of what you're going to be doing.
Pedal to the metal, let's drive.
All right. So, the car goes into the down the ruined straightaway of the convention and goes into the air in the hedge. The car is sailing across the starry sky of the hedge. Make me a dexterity plus drive roll, please. Yeah, dexterity plus drive at a -3.
Using a willpower.
Nicely done.
Very nice.
The car sails through the hedge gate and hits the trod. It bounces once briefly and kicks up a cloud of dust, but other than the bullet hole from the guard, it is undamaged. Okay, it's the bespectacled gentleman's turn.
Well, come on, sir. Come on. We haven't got all day.
Thankfully, you're already in the hedge.
The last thing I want is him paying attention to you.
The bespectacled gentleman struggles briefly against the grip of the dagger before staring directly at Kit and whistling. Kit hears the sound of a bird, of a hawk, crying in the ceiling above. The huntsman's herald, his hawk, swoops down from the rafters and goes directly for Kit. Since you did an instant action, you forgo your defense this round.
Sorry, comrade. You're muted.
So give me just a moment. All right, Kit, you do have armor, even though you've forgone your defense. So let's make this roll. 3 successes. What's your armor rating?
You need to unmute.
2-4.
So the 2 is your ballistic armor, I believe, correct?
I believe so, yeah. Let me... armor.
I believe 4 is the ballistic armor, but let me triple check.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right. Defense, rating. Normal attacks, and then the second is firearms.
Okay. So then the 2 is your...
normal defense.
All right, so you take 1 lethal damage. The hawk's beak and claws tear at your flesh. Also, while the hawk is attacking you, considering the size of it, it's very hard to see around it. Until this thing is away from you, we're going to count this as the blinded tilt.
Okay.
But simply for 1 eye. So you'll be taking a -3 penalty to any rolls that rely on vision until you can get this damn bird away from you.
Okay.
The security guard snaps out of it briefly, looks between the hawk attacking the invisible Kit and the portal to a different dimension that the car he was guarding just drove into. He takes a deep breath and runs through the hedge gate as fast as he can.
I have a bad case of not my problem breaking out. Are you guys suffering from that tonight? Or do I need to sort this out? I need to know if I care about this because that is going to determine my next action.
I'm sorry, I was reading a rule. Who ran through?
The fucking
The
security
guard.
guards in the hedge. Do we care?
I don't care.
You care.
So,
Okay. We'll sort it.
I'm sorry.
Make sure that I don't have any other problems then.
all right.
Okay.
Kit, it is your turn.
All right. So, Talon Wing. That's one I want. No, sorry. The seven league leap. That's the one that increases my speed, and I basically just bolt through the hedge gate, closing it behind me, and call for my mount to pick me up as I'm falling.
Alrighty. Considering you've got a great big bird in front of you, I'm going to say that your -3 penalty is going to apply. So, 7 league leap. Let me check real quick and see if there is a roll associated. If not, you are going to have to make a roll for this anyway.
There is not. There is not a roll, but it does cost.
Actually, yes, there is. The player makes a jumping roll, and the character can clear a jumping trajectory of 10 yards, 10 meters per dot of weird he possesses. So that's strength plus athletics, please.
That's if I'm jumping.
Oh, you're not jumping?
Just running.
No, I'm just running for the gate.
Dex plus
so
athletics.
you're using the beast thing for it?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to ask for Dex plus athletics.
Okay.
And -3 because there is still a giant ass hawk to attacking you.
That is completely reasonable. All right. Let's see here. Dex plus athletics. That is going to be 6 plus my specialty in running.
They see me roll.
And here we go. 2 successes.
All right. So that's 2 successes. So Kit is able to juke his way around the attacking hawk. The spectacled gentleman yells after you through both his own mouth and the hawk's beak. You haven't evaded me yet. As Kit goes through the hedge gate and closes it behind him. So Elliot, Kit, and Kinsey, you're both in the hedge currently. You're all three in the hedge currently, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Question. Just to clarify here, he did not close the hedge gate behind him. You specifically told me I have to get this motherfucker out of the hedge and you're gonna close the fucking door?
Right. I did not close the...
If you care, I need somewhere to throw this guy because I'm not gonna be able to find another door in 5 feet here, man.
Fair.
Oh, I know what to do with this. This is so fucking stupid.
So, the three of you are now on the other side of the hedge. And you have left the gate open.
Yes.
Uh,
So, there's
Actually, I just realized one other thing.
There's one other
One
person I would like to act this round.
Bob?
No, not Bob. Though Bob should probably get an action this round. He needs to get his stilts on, for one. I mentioned at the end of my action I threw my scooter out of my bag. My scooter is alive.
Mm-hmm. Your
would like,
Trofei mount.
yes, I'd like him to bum rush the guy who just ran out the, whatchamacallit, the hedge gate.
All right. So that being said, considering that the casino on the hedge side is buried up to the 6th floor, that's still a 40-foot drop for you and the security guard. So can you give me a stamina plus athletics check, please?
Absolutely! That's deeply relevant. Yeah, let me think about what I'm doing afterwards. Never mind, you closed the door. If you heard a scream and fall, you closed the door. Because I would have screamed and fallen pretty loudly, I think. I'm a screamer. Because we're not going to be able to throw him back up the wall this way. At least I can't.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Kenny, are we beyond the point of retconning one last time? Back to
This is the last answer. Is the hedge gate open or not?
It's closed.
It is not.
Sorry, I didn't know we didn't have floor. That seems relevant.
I did say it multiple times, including in the description when Kit cased this over the weekend, that it was buried 6 floors up.
And that's why I had my bird catch me.
So make your roll, please.
All right. Athletics plus stamina. That. 3 successes.
Okay. So Elliot manages to roll with the punches as he falls the 4 stories to the ground and takes a roll. Luckily, the hedge is the trods of the hedge are a lot softer than the concrete of the mortal side. Elliot is dirty and a little bedraggled, but otherwise okay. All right. So, everyone, I want you to make a perception check.
I never like hearing that.
I do.
Four successes.
Kenzie fails.
3 successes.
All right. So, Kit first. Kit notes a hedge gate opening on the floor below, one small window through which a hawk comes out. It gives a loud cry which shakes the hedge itself. And from here, you can hear hoofbeats.
You've got friends.
I got friends.
Told you this was going to be your show, my dude.
Okay.
I'm going to have to disappear after my action for about 30 seconds. I will be back ASAP. Just catch me up.
Okay.
All right. So, we are past this action scene, so the initiative order is dropped for now.
Okay.
However, you're sitting at the base of the trod. The car, Kit and his Fey mount, and Elliot and his Fey mount. You hear hoofbeats in the distance. I'm going to say since Elliot also got his perception roll, that he can tell you that the hoofbeats luckily are not coming from the direction that you would need to drive down the trod, but they are coming from for you from the thorns.
All right, so order of operations, kids. We have a giant fucking bird we need to deal with. We have a dude I need to shove back through the portal, and somebody needs to get this thing away while we hopefully hold the attention of not one huntsman, but two huntsmen. You excited?
This is going to be fun. All right, let's see here. What do I have to work with?
Has Bob got his stilts on yet?
Bob the Grimalkin is ready to take over the driver's seat. That said, Kinsey, are you going to be with Bob or what?
Yes, I will be with Bob, covering him from the passenger window.
Could you hang that little Christmas tree I picked you up?
Yep. I hang it on the rearview mirror.
So I picked up a little thing called the driver's little helper, which will make 3 successes on a driving roll, a 5 effectively.
Alrighty. So, as you prepare to make a break for it, the hoofbeats draw near, and a figure bursts through the thorns. The Grim Hunter looks exactly as how you remember him. He is a old man with a long white beard and an eye patch over one eye. He's riding a horse a white horse who on this side of the hedge, his hooves are leaving fiery trails as he moves. The hunter has his hound running by the side of the horse and is carrying his rifle under one arm. He breaks into a grin as he sees the three of you. I thought old Glass's face wouldn't be useful for anything, but he was able to warn me. This is the worst hunt night of my life, and that's because you've taken all of my subordinates. But if I... Yes, Kenzie?
Can I blow my mind blower at him?
Let's roll initiative because this is absolutely not a surprise round. Okay, everyone roll initiative again.
Alrighty.
If you're, I do want to warn you, he's going to attempt to initiate a chase if you run. So you can either stay here and fight, or you can run and let him initiate a chase.
Right. And when he says that we've taken all of his subordinates, I'm gonna reply with, yeah, I'm gonna take your other eye tonight too.
All right. I will be back shortly because I am at the very end of initiative order. I'm very sorry.
You know what? I don't think you can even handle me on my own. I'm gonna challenge you to a duel, just you and me.
All right. I'm going to put together our initiative, and then he'll reply to that invitation to a duel.
Yeah.
All right. Kit has 18. Elliot has 10. Kenzie has 11. I need to learn how to type. The Grim Hunter got 14. And the Bespectacled Gentleman, who is only here currently through his hawk, has 11. So,
Sorry about that.
Kit's going to go first. The hunter stays his horse for a moment and then says, "A duel. You truly think that's a good idea?"
Why are you hesitating?
It's not yet autumn. I hope you're aware of what that means.
If you start fighting, you're not allowed to leave, my dude. Not that you were able to anyways.
I accept if you're willing to fight, little rabbit.
I shoot him in the other eye. He's like, fuck no, I'm not gonna fight fair.
So you're just going to go ahead and open fire?
Yeah, I was just fucking with him.
Okay, fair enough. He's got 5/5 armor. Make your roll.
I'm shooting him in. I'm doing a cold shot in to his eye, his good eye.
Alrighty. Considering he's only got one eye, bear with me a moment. I'm cross-referencing rules.
So for the cold shot, I take a penalty, depending on which one I'm aiming for. Which I believe for the eye is 3, but with the marksmanship,
You can trade damage for getting rid of that penalty.
Yep.
Alrighty.
For I, that's a -5. How much of that are you trading out?
All of it. So basically, I'm foregoing the bonus to damage.
All right. So you're rolling straight damage. You need to make 1 success, but if you do any damage, it inflicts the blinded tilt. And since he's only got the one eye, it's gonna be
2 successes.
All right. So let's see.
Does he have any armor over his eyes?
That he does not. So I'm not going to give him the armor for this one. I'm going to go ahead and let him take the 2 lethal. So the blinded tilt is inflicted on the Grim Hunter.
When I was playing along at home, we took his other eye the last time we met up.
This is incredibly funny. Or at least it is to us.
I believe he always had his eye patch. I remember that you guys mentioning that.
Either way, we shot him in the head last time, and now we've shot him in the eye again. I'm sure he's getting tired of getting bullets in the brain.
Okay. That stated, it's his turn. The bullet pierces his eye, and he puts his hand to his good eye, shouting, "Oh, you think that was a good idea, do you?"
No, sir. What we thought it was incredibly funny, sir.
Told you I was going to take your eye.
It's like you're not listening or something.
All right. The Grim Hunter spends 1 point of glamour. He smashes a fist on the horse's bridle, and it rears up into the air. The fire from its hooves spreads out all the way around it, making the shapes of chains and traps. Inescapable snare. So he's going to attempt to grapple all of you. Bear with me just a moment.
Can I get, for precision here, who all is being targeted?
He cannot see Bob, so he doesn't know about Bob. But he is going to target. He's not going to target Kenzie because Kenzie's in the car with Bob. He's going to target Kit and Elliot.
And he hasn't recognized my scooter as a creature?
No.
Excellent. Okay. We've got options. So it's just me and Elliot. Sorry, it's me, Elliot, and Kit who are targeted.
All right. Bear with me just a sec.
Incredibly important.
It is incredibly important. All right. So that makes the roll that he makes. Sorry, I'm just having to count all these. Instant and contested, strength plus brawl plus strength plus brawl. He makes an unarmed attack. And that grabs. On success, inflict no damage, but start the grapple. On an exceptional success, choose the grapple option immediately. So, that is, all right. Hit.
Yeah.
2 successes.
All right. And what did you say my dice pool was?
Well, currently, we're unless that gets an exceptional success, he's not going to initiate the grapple immediately. You're grabbed by the trap.
Okay. Now, do I have what kind of action is to try and get out of the trap?
That's going to be your standard action as a grapple.
And Elliot. That's also not a exceptional success. So you are grabbed by the inescapable snare. Okay, yeah, and that starts a grapple. So strength plus brawl plus versus strength plus brawl. Kit, you need 2 to break out. Elliot, you need 4.
Okay. And, oof, that's not good. 3, 2. All right, I'm going to spend a willpower on this. Can I have my mount pull me out?
It's a bird, so you can definitely ask it to if you fail to get yourself out.
Okay.
In that case, I will have your bird act at the end of action order. Kit failed, so the huntsman gets to choose a grapple option.
And much the same for me. This is a
You
chance
need to
die.
make your roll.
I fail.
Do you want to take a beat and make that a dramatic failure?
Absolutely. Take your
All
chance.
right. All right. So take a beat then. Kit.
I'm going to take a beat.
Yep.
He chooses grapple option, control weapon. Take firm hold of a weapon, either your character's or her opponent's. Lasts until your character's opponent chooses control weapon. So, the flaming chain wraps around your gun and yanks it hard to the right. Elliot, you take your beat and you got you took your dramatic failure and got a beat. The trap closes around your ankle. Suddenly, burning, shooting pain is going through your body. Take 1 lethal damage, and you are restrained. Not restrained, you are held. You lose your defense.
Got it.
All right. That's Grim's action done. Kenzie, you're up. You're currently sitting in the the passenger seat of the car. Bob the Grimalkin, a cat who walks on his hind legs, I should remind everyone from at home, is wearing a pair of stilts that allows him to reach the pedals. He is looking to you for orders.
We drive, right, guys?
I need you to get this car out of here because the moment the car is safe, we can focus.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, we drive.
Zoom. Kinsey and Bob are out of this encounter. We'll be dealing with your chase momentarily.
So who's following them?
The gentleman's hawk.
The bespectacled gentleman's hawk circles the scene below and flies directly after the car. You have not yet escaped me, comes his voice through the beak of the hawk. He also leaves the scene. Elliot, it is actually your action now.
All right. So I believe that the only choice I have to make is make a grapple effort here. Yes?
If you can think of anything else, you can certainly forego the grapple roll, but I would recommend making an attempt to grapple if you would like to get free.
Because the thing I was going to ask is if you would allow me to activate the thing that makes holding... Actually, wait, I'm not being held by any part of him. It wouldn't be meaningful. He's definitely not going to be within 2 meters of me because he's focusing on the other guy. So, in fact, doing that would be useless. All right.
Bear in mind that he's using the dread power inescapable snare. which counts as iron for the purposes of negating fey magic, such as portaling and contracts.
Okay. So none of my court stuff would help either.
Not currently.
All right.
So I guess all things considered, that more or less, it's your realistic options come down to the grapple.
The only action they can take is the grappling action. All right. Well, I've only got strength plus brawl. I have no dots in that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pray. Because I don't have another answer for this on my personage. I yell to my beastie to go knock Kit free if his bird doesn't manage it.
Alrighty, and that's your Fey mount is an animated e-scooter, correct?
Yes.
All right, and you have the stat block for. Do you have the stat block for Fey mount up? I've got the grapple rules.
I will have it up in a couple of seconds, but I need to make my failure of a roll first. Anyways.
All right.
With willpower, I go from 0 to 3. That might actually succeed. 1 success.
All right, and the roll for the Grim Hunter.
He wins.
He wins, and he is going to. Now that you are held, he's going to change that to restrain because that requires hold. You now suffer the immobilize tilt.
All right.
All right, top of the action order. Kit.
So
before the top of the action order, my mount tries to get me out.
Okay, so that means your bird gets to join the grapple. You have your stat block for your Fey mount, right?
I'm trying to pull up the
Page
Fey
113.
mount. Why the heck wasn't it in the mount? Okay.
I have
Fey
it.
mounts.
I have it up. I can read off the stats for you. So
Yeah.
for this one,
Hydrate.
I would reasonably state, for the benefit of those here, since they're not involved in the thing and they're merely trying to grab and pull, that I would say a strength plus athletics makes sense for trying to pull someone out of a trap. How would you say on that one, Kenny?
Yes, that makes sense, but I'm going to treat it like the grappling roll itself, contested by the grapple roll.
All right.
So,
unless you've got specific stuff for your dude that makes him better at things, that's 9 dice for you, Tibbs.
4 successes. So
he has to beat 4 to prevent you from leaving.
2. He does not. Your Fey mount. It was what type of bird was it? A giant eagle, a rock,
a hawk.
A hawk. Your hawk grabs Kit by the ears and yanks. This is uncomfortable for a rabbit beast, but much better than being trapped by fiery chains. Kit is pulled free. However, his gun is a potentially different story, considering it was grabbed by the chains. Give me a chance die.
Well, I'll get you a new one, a better one.
I mean, I'm not going to say that you never get the gun back, but for the purpose of this combat, you are currently disarmed as the gun goes toppling to the ground. The good news is the fiery chain of the inescapable snare is no longer touching it. It has no interest in the gun, only you. So, top of the action order. Kit. Your hawk has you by the ears. You're dangling about 3 feet off the ground.
There's one more action, please.
Oh, yes?
I am getting hit by an e-scooter.
Ah, yeah, that's true. You make your roll for your mount to try to free you, too.
And I want to be absolutely clear. The only thing that is different when we go here is that the e-scooter has a big, long tongue sticking out of it. And that's the only difference from a normal e-scooter. This thing is about to hit me at a reasonable clip, and that is as close to helping me as it can manage. Just for everyone playing along at home. Hi, raiding people from Paladin's Archives. Lovely to see you.
Howdy, folks. We're always glad for new folk, even though this isn't exactly our channel normally. Onyx PathCon. So,
Right now,
I see you've made your roll and you got 3 successes.
indeed.
3 successes. It's a tie. So we're going to treat this like like we would a grappling action. The e-scooter attempts to bash you free, but is unable to do so.
That's fine.
Now we're back to the top of the action order. Kit, again, as I was mentioning, your hawk has you by the ears. You're dangling about a meter off the ground, roughly 3 feet. And these, it wasn't the shotgun or the sniper rifle you were using.
That would have been the sniper rifle.
That rifle is currently laying on the ground about 3 feet below you.
Okay. So I believe I did have my shotgun on me, though.
You were rather explicit about putting it in your bag.
Yeah. So I pull out the shotgun and shoot my rifle.
Shoot your rifle?
Yeah, he ain't fucking using that against me.
Okay.
And then I swing up onto my mount.
All right. Let's see how well you can roll here, because if you're willing to do that, I might be willing to roll with cool something for you.
You muted yourself.
Yeah. Do you mean roll for damage or roll to swing up on my mount?
Roll your shot first. You are shooting the gun.
Yes. Okay, so that's gonna be 7 with 9 again.
If you get an exceptional success, I'll do something interesting here for you.
Okay. Can I argue Dynamo for this?
You want to refresh your willpower?
Yeah.
Considering everything you've done, go ahead. Go ahead, interruption.
We have done some incredibly stupid shit here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to allow it. So refresh some willpower.
All right.
Speaking of which,
3 successes for the shot.
All right. That's not an exceptional success, so I'm not going to do the bonus thing here. However, the shotgun shot does send the rifle skittering off into the thorns. It's damaged, but nothing that you couldn't fix if you were to come back for it.
Yeah. Straight size. Okay. Yeah, and then I swing up into my mount.
Kit swings up onto the back of the hawk. Grim. The Grim Hunter still is still cradling his bleeding eye with his other hand on the horse's bridle, directing the inescapable snare. Currently, Elliot is immobilized. That would mean, let's see, as you are immobilized, does this mean that you will, let me check and see if that means you don't get to roll here.
I do not get to move, and he can leave the grapple if he wishes and leave me immobilized at this point since it was done with equipment. Is he done grappling?
Yeah, he is done grappling you.
Thank you.
That said, since you are the last target left, for this, the Grim Hunter whistles for his hound. The hound grabs Elliot by the back of his collar and hops up onto the horse. Elliot is laid across the back of the horse, and the hound goes back to the ground. The Grim Hunter removes his hands and looks back at you. You can see the shattered remains of his eye as he leaks blood. Little rabbit, I may not be able to see you, but I can smell you. We're going for a ride. And then I'm taking you and your two other friends back to our Lord. And just know that for your arrogance, you will be punished.
Smell you, he says.
I'm bathed. I mean, that's not the problem.
No. Smell you, he says.
Unfortunately,
Good job for Jenny Stones.
All right. Grim is the Grim Hunter heads off following the eagle. We will be going to the chase momentarily, as this means there is no one left at the site of this action scene currently. All right, that's a good point. We'll go to the end of the initiative order since you do have
two mounts.
Two mounts. So the Grim Hunter rides off after the car. So, Elliot, it is your turn. Now we're top of the action order, and then we're going to break and go to the chase.
All right. Well,
But Kit does get in action because he has range.
okay. Well, so I am tied up in chains, but just laid on the back of this horse, right?
Yes.
All right. That's straightforward enough. Nothing seems to indicate, other than not being able to move my arms or legs, that I am completely unable to move muscles.
That's how I am interpreting the immobilized tilt. You can't move your arms and your legs, but if you wanted to make and the inescapable snare is being used on you, so you can't use magic. But any other roles that you have, now's the chance to make them.
All right. All I'm going to do is shift myself as much as I can to make my leg available for grabbing. I am going to make an assistance roll to my mount for the roll it's about to make to try and grab me off the back.
I'll allow that.
This seems... Despite the context of this is fairly mundane. I'm just moving my body. So, dexterity plus athletics feels appropriate?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. 2-6... No! Not dying over that! Willpower says no. Nope, it's 2 successes. That's the best I can do. Okay,
All right. So Elliot isn't able to do much, but he is able to kick out his leg to the point that it is available for grabbing.
So, strength plus athletics to pull a flailing glass man off the back of a thing with your tongue?
Yep.
So the e-scooter rolls up, darts out its tongue, grabbing at my leg, and rolls 7 successes!
Okay. Elliot is dragged off the back of the galloping horse. This being an exception.
Onto the e-scooter, which drives off.
This being an exceptional success, the Grim Hunter does not notice.
I told
Okay.
you it'd come in handy. This is the dumbest expenditure of XP ever, and I love it.
Technically, you're at the top. Since you're at the top of the action order, I'm going to let you act, Kit, and then this scene breaks.
Okay. He has an open wound.
Yes.
I grab the rock salt out of the hammer space, and see if I can fly by and grind it into his eye.
Our player characters here have bought a specific hollow with easy access that is otherwise small. So as long as you have some sort of entrance to knock on or whatever to open to, you can access that hollow and get that salt.
And the bag counts as a door.
It does.
It does.
So I say the passphrase, unzip my bag and grab a handful of rock salt, road salt, and see if I can find it. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can find a large chunk of it and throw it in and throw it into his eye.
Considering he's galloping away from you at speed, I'm going to say that you have a -5 penalty for that.
Okay. Can I move forward and try and pass him to do this?
I think he's talking about the fact that necessarily you're doing that, but you're both fast-moving objects trying to fire from a speedy thing to a speedy thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does Dex plus Athletics sound?
At a -5, please.
Yep. With a willpower. Two successes.
Cat.
Alrighty. So, you get some salt into his eye. It doesn't do any actual damage, but it certainly hurts like a bitch. The Grim Hunter screams out in equal parts anger and pain. So, now it is chase time. Kenzie, we're going over to you. The car has sped away out onto the hedge. A kerfuffle happens behind you, and looking through the passenger side window, you can see the hawk chasing you, and about 20 seconds later, the Grim Hunter on his horse. So, currently, you have the edge as you were the ones starting this chase by running away. Dice pool, determined each turn by the side with the edge based on the current situation. So, what dice pool do you want to use, Kenzie?
Dexterity plus larceny to steal away into the night.
Sure.
Gotta love the sheer metaphorical physics we're running through here, kids.
Yep. I mean, that sounds like a hedge navigation roll, so yeah.
The chase is more or less the same system that governs hedge navigation, so that would explain it.
Okay, so I'm rolling now.
Yes.
Four successes.
All right. And dexterity plus larceny is what you were saying, correct?
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to say that we need 10 successes here to end the chase.
Okie doke. Are we rolling this via initiative order?
No need in this case. So the Grim Hunter got a 1. And next up,
Now you said wits plus larceny is the roll we're doing, or how does this work? Sorry.
Dexterity plus larceny. Sorry, I rolled again because I thought it was me.
So currently it is going to be Kinsey. I'm going to let you guys jump in on the chase momentarily.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, we're about to have wacky racers break out, kids.
All right. And the bespectacled gentleman's herald got no successes. All right. Kinsey, narrate what's going on.
So currently, Bob, my 2.5 foot tall cat, who walks on his hind legs and talks like a human, is wearing stilts to drive this car along the trod within all of the thorns. That is along the trod that goes along all the casinos. And Kenzie is leaning out the passenger side window with a gun and her knuckle dusters, which are also guns. Currently not shooting anything, just being a menace. With all 4'10" of her.
Okay. So, and your dexterity plus larceny was to steal away. So, what are you doing in that regard?
Currently, I'm attempting to steal teeny tiny thorns from the hedge as we pass them, and just drop them like caltrops behind us.
All right. So, the Grim Hunter got a success on his roll, but the bespectacled gentleman failed. Now, I fucked up a little bit here. The side with the edge is supposed to determine the fail condition before the roll happens. But in this case, you get to choose whether the bespectacled gentleman loses a success. He doesn't have any, so he can't do that. So do you want to give him a tilt, or do you want to inflict 2 points of bashing damage or 1 point of lethal?
Elliot, Kit, what should I do?
I think a tilt would be pretty nice.
Yeah. Something like leg rack, maybe? Or arm rack?
I would say leg rack, call it wing rack in this case.
Yeah.
Because it's, the moving limb as opposed to the grasping limb here, I think would be more appropriate to model off of leg rack.
Yeah.
Okay, that works for me. So, Kenny, can we do a wing rack?
Yeah. So, the hawk suffers a injury to the wing from one of the horns that you threw. You hear the bird squawk, and you can hear the bespectacled gentleman screaming through its beak. Oh, great. That said, time to start again. So, considering what's just happened last round, you still have the edge. Name the dice pool and name the failure condition, please. This is page 196 if you want to look at it yourself.
Was this me again?
Yes.
Yep. And then the others are going to come in this round.
Okay. I'd like to do dexterity plus larceny again.
Okay. You're having fun with that one, huh?
I am, and the failure condition will be
honestly, Sam again would probably take out the bird if he fails again.
Can I say nose deaf?
What?
Essentially blinded but for smell.
I love this game.
That's not a tilt, but I'm going to say sure. I'm going to treat that as a tilt for you. All right, make your roll, please.
Two successes.
2 successes. Your total's up to 6. All right. First up, the Grim Hunter.
Keeping pace.
Yep, he's keeping pace this round. You can hear the horse galloping. The thorns that you scattered on the path don't seem to affect him, even though you were able to throw one and get that fucking hawk. Let's see how our friend, the gentleman's hawk, is doing.
I believe this is definitely a -2 penalty on physical rolls that involve movement.
Arm rack suffers -3 penalty to fall physical actions or a chance dive to anything that requires manual dexterity. In this case, considering his pool, it's the same thing.
We can take one of these guys out of the running, we can focus on the other.
Okay. So the hawk failed again, unfortunately. And you said that you wanted to inflict the nose blind tilt.
Yes.
All right. Now, the others come in. The hawk, injured, is flying closer to the ground. It opens its beak, and the bespectacled gentleman's voice shouts through it, "I was made to chase you. To capture you is my purpose in life. And as such," Kinsey throws another thorn. Is that what are you going to, since you use the same dice pool, is that what you want to continue doing?
Yes.
Kinsey throws another thorn directly into the beak, injuring the hawk's nose. Now, the e-scooter and the other bay hawk come into the running. Make your dexterity plus larceny rolls, please.
And
You
for those
can choose to, the terms of the chase, just to let you know, do allow you to use another roll if you forgo 10 again.
I will forgo 10 again, so I have more than 2 dice. Will you accept a Dex plus Athletics trying to catch up?
Yes. And also bear in mind that for every round you don't use the proper dice pool, you get a -1 penalty after the first.
Also, I'm going to be real with you. I'm chained up on the back of an e-scooter. We're using the e-scooter's stats, right?
Yes, it's the
moving
mountain.
object.
The moving creature.
Just wanted to make sure I wasn't assuming that out of stuff, but I don't think this thing has... Yeah. Okay.
We do have a question in chat.
Determination? Yeah, that would be +3 bonus to dice. That would mean we get 3 extra die to roll with, and that would be incredibly helpful, especially around now when we're all having some rough times. So, who do you want to help out?
Unfortunately, this isn't D&D, but I'll let determination work for willpower. So, yeah, +3 bonus. Choose somebody to get it to, Puma Man.
All right. So, I'm going to be catching up, as is... are you going to be rolling Dex plus Larceny on this one, and Kit? All right. So either of us could use the boost.
You said...
And we don't get 10 again.
Yes. So whichever one's doing the action, basically.
Mm-hmm. You could reasonably argue yourself for larceny, or probably your bird if you've got a better idea.
I need to start taking that thing that I was talking about before. All right. So is it? Am I going, or is?
All right. So Elliot is gone. I'll roll extra dice if Puma Man and makes a decision there, and yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let's see here. So what I was thinking is,
Roll your extra 3, Elliot.
yeah.
Thank you. That puts me up to an exceptional success. Thank you!
Nice.
Total of 5 successes for this chase for you, then. All right, narrate what's going on for us here, Elliot.
So, right now, an e-scooter is basically, with a giant meaty tongue, has been basically trying to keep up with everyone, while I'm chained up in iron on the back. Dex plus Athletics here is just trying to catch us up to the others, while I am on the back desperately trying to break through my bonds, while also trying not to fall off the back of this scooter. Thank you, Puma Man!
All right. So what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna honestly I'm just gonna have my hawk do basically the same thing.
Welcome in, Raiders.
Hello,
Howdy, guys.
Raiders!
Howdy, guys.
We're guest streaming here since Onyx PathCon is filling up the Onyx Path channel. You're coming in towards the end of our session, but we've got about 30 minutes left.
And guess what? We're having wacky races. I'm chained up on the back of a living e-scooter. He's running after the party on a giant hawk. A horseman who's leaving hoofbeats of burning behind him is chasing after our friend in a car stolen from a movie set. We're having a great time.
Oh, don't forget that the car is being actually driven by a cat.
My apologies. The car
important.
specifically is being driven by a cat with stilts on his feet. Let's rock and roll.
Gotta love Changeling.
And no, this isn't Wacky Races. This is Changeling. Welcome.
All right, give us your roll.
All right, so let me jump over here and get the stats. Okay, so let's see here, Dex plus Athletics to try and speed ahead,
Works for me.
and that's from the Eagles or the Hawks rather dice pool.
Mm-hmm. And
just
remember, no
remember,
10 again.
So your reroll dice don't count.
Yeah. So 1.
All right, 1 success. All right. And since you've got an exceptional success, Elliot, you get to inflict the terms of the failure for this chase on the opponent regardless. So the huntsman is now nose blind.
You're so smart, Kenzie.
Grim Hunter.
You're so incredibly smart.
Since Elliot got didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Since Elliot got a exceptional success, he has the edge. Elliot, determine the terms of the chase. What is your pool that you want to be used?
The thing is, we need to make our own way in this world. We need to make it out of here as best we can. And when I'm talking about making things, I'm not being metaphorical, except I'm also being metaphorical. How's your Dex plus crafts? Because I think his is pretty shit. All right. In which case, what is something you are good at?
Dex plus Athletics.
You know what? We could be normal. We're on a straightaway. We've got a trod. Why don't we just go for it? All right. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going Dex plus Athletics, and I'm starting us off. We're using my e-scooters because I'm still tied up on the back, and I haven't figured out a way to solve that yet. That leaves me 7 dice. Thank you again, Puma Man. Alright, that's just 1 success, but 1 success is not 0.
Yep, that means you don't get hit with the terms of failure. By the way, I'm an idiot. You need to determine the terms of failure.
Ah, my apologies. I'm gonna go with, you know what? This guy's, on a horse, right?
Yep,
And he's blind and knows stuff.
yep.
I'm gonna go heavy winds the tilt.
Sounds fun.
He's gonna eat our dust. Possibly literally.
So, Elliot's gone this round. Let's see.
So guys, if he fails here, we're gonna literally blow past him.
So otherwise, let's go down the rest of the order. Kinsey, make your roll. That's 3. So you're at 9.
We're at the home stretch.
The Grim Hunter. And it was Dex plus Athletics, you said?
Yep. And I'm sure he's got something by now as a penalty. Between being blind and no longer having any senses capable of tracking the way.
Yep. So that means he's going to take a -5.
Way to go on the no, Steph. You're a genius.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Grim gets 3 successes.
Okay.
The bespectacled gentleman goes next. He is nose blind, but he can see, so he's not taking a penalty on Dex plus Athletics.
How about on that arm rack?
Wing rack, that's true. That is a -3, so he's taking -3 penalty there. That's failed. The bespectacled gentleman is not rolling well tonight, folks.
Poor guy.
No, no, you don't say shit about that. You remember the last time this guy got anywhere near us.
All right, so he gets hit by the heavy winds tilt.
Okay.
So for those of you playing at home, let me give you a quick summary of heavy winds. Heavy winds are loud, so characters suffer from a -3 penalty to oral perception rolls. So he's lost another sense. The wind inflicts a penalty to all physical rolls. I'll let you decide how bad this one. 1, 3, or 5.
1.
Fair enough. This penalty is applied to all physical dice rolls, period, end of sentence. And he will be taking bashing damage each turn equal to the wing's rating. He can make a Dex plus Athletics roll to avoid damage.
All right. And Kit.
Okay. Give me just a sec here. I was looking for that. Done. Okay. So I'm going to use the prescribed dice pool, but I am also going to be activating 7 Lake Leap. So
Yep.
with this, so I have the edge.
All right, Edge shifts over to Kit.
And let's see here. And it was just Dex plus Athletics.
Yep.
Yes.
Dex 6, 7 with my specialty. We go 3 successes, which for my Kith, the Flicker Flash, is an exceptional success.
All right. You are now at 4 successes, and as an exceptional success, that means you get to inflict the penalty anyway. So the Grim Hunter is now suffering heavy wind as well. So, Elliot, narrate what's going on, and I will give the play-by-play for the huntsman.
All right. So the thing is, when you're talking about a big old city like Las Vegas, you get these really nasty wind corridors between buildings, where just because we've got these really tall buildings, the air ends up getting pushed around the buildings and forced down the streets. And so a little bit of wind gets to be a lot of wind. And while that's mundane in the city streets, it's pretty serious when you're talking in the metaphorical space of the hedge. Gunning underneath the blast of the wind, the low-riding vehicle skates under it, and I, slung on the back of an e-scooter, couldn't be lowered to the ground. Seeing this, our whatchamacallit, our hawk-mounted friend flies over the gust of wind, but that horse is just taking it straight to the face. Both him and the other bird, who wasn't in a position to dodge it, get blown back by the wind. Not dodging it carefully meant that they suffered the consequences.
So, the Grim Hunter is in hot pursuit. The horse pushing itself harder and harder. But the wind makes it tough to make any headway. Still, Kenzie can see him gaining a little, even though it's clear that the thorns being blown from the hedge are doing some damage. The hawk herald of the bespectacled gentleman, however, is in much more trouble. The wind causes him to spiral out, and the hawk is blown into the thorns. You can hear the bespectacled gentleman screaming as through the hawk's beak, "Fair play, but I will be back."
Sucks to suck.
All right. The bespectacled gentleman is removed from this chase. All right, Kit, you have the edge. Determine the dice pool.
Okay, I'm going to ask an incredibly stupid question, Lex. What die pool do you have that you think the man on the back of that horse does not have?
Dexterity plus empathy?
You got a second answer that anyone else might have some dice on? Because that's me rolling a 2 die, and I don't think that's going to go well.
Well,
Yeah,
it can't be Animal Ken, because he's definitely got Animal Ken.
Okay.
Brawl?
No. He
No, 'cause
absolutely
his-
got...
Yeah, 'cause
Occult
his-
or investigation?
You want to do investigation? Okay. So let's
That was
do.
a smile on Kenny, so this could be dangerous.
Wait, he's a huntsman. He's a huntsman.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what? Let's just go with Dex plus Athletics. We've done everything we can.
Okay, and the tilt, the punishment for failure is the knockdown condition, or tilts.
All right, I'll allow it.
Can I make a suggestion, actually?
What's that?
Have you checked out Insensate?
Which one's that? What does that do?
They're suddenly racked by either extreme fear or pleasure, and they can't do anything until it resolves at the end of the scene.
Kenny, what do you think?
I think considering that we're in the middle of a chase, the knockdown would do more or less the same thing.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
And-
So, sorry. Go ahead.
And narratively, it'll make more sense because he's getting blown off his horse.
Yeah. All right. So, Dex plus athletics.
All right. We've done everything we can, guys.
2 successes.
All right.
Burning a willpower.
Kit's totaled 6. Elliot has totaled 9.
And he's at 11.
Yep, sorry, I just saw you. And
Yes!
the Grim Hunter fails. So,
Fall off your horse!
Kinsey speeds away in the car. The Grim Hunter leans in on his horse. No, I'm not going to be lost again. You can see him, Hound. Be my eyes. You can see the Hound's eyes glow green as the Grim Hunter looks through it. He runs up on the horse as close to the car as he can. The e-scooter and the Hawk close in on either side. As a coordinated move, a burst of speed comes out. The car leaves a trail of dust. The Hawk leaves a strong wind, and the e-scooter, it makes a lot of annoying e-scooter noises. The horse stumbles and falls. The Grim Hunter is trapped underneath his horse. He shouts in coherent rage to the sky as the motley speeds off onto the trod. The chase is won.
Oh, oh man.
So,
Thank you again, Puma Man, for saving my life earlier. Can someone get me out of these chains?
so you guys wanted to let Bob take the car to the
Grimalkins, who are going to be doing a repair job on any damage that's occurred on the way here.
All right, so you guys are safe. What do you want to do now, exactly? Tell me. Are you gonna go along with the plan, or?
Yeah, let's at least get it to the freehold.
All right. So the three of you head towards the freehold from the hedge side.
Actually, can I flex a little bit because I have a tiny bit of glamour left, and I'd like to be cool for a second because I have not been cool all evening. Can someone please get me out of these bindings?
Yeah, I grabbed the bolt cutters and start cutting.
Anyways, walls have ears. Going to spend 1 glamour on this. It's an instant action, and I put my head next to the car and listen to it. I'm taking the first effect. Basically, I am asking the car to tell me about itself, and I'm learning about the car. I learn how the object is constructed and all its weak points, and then it lets me add my intelligence rating as bonus dice to repair or modify the object. I listen to it purr, and then I'm going to make a... Would you accept a wits plus crafts to repair the damage?
Sure.
We have all the tools I could ever think of in that box that he described. I'm pretty sure I can find stuff to fix this with. And willpower is saved in case I need to re-roll this. 3 successes.
So, using raw glamour and hedge stuff, you're able to patch up the bullet hole. The remains of the fiery chains are very useful for this. The keys are handed over to Bob, who speeds off towards the other Grimalkins.
Hi, guys. We
Success.
did it!
Ooh. Okay.
Holy crap.
Hey, DeSoto. You're gonna love her.
On the phone, I assume?
Yep.
So you did it? You got her?
She's waiting for you. Bob's got the keys.
Viscount! You hear the Viscount's voice over there, too. Oh, did I hear correct, darlings? You've gotten the car?
So I take it everybody's happy?
Yeah, says Mario. You've got my vault holder. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
So,
Mr.
sorry, go on.
Yes? No, you go on.
So, where's the after party? I need a drink.
I know of one, says the Viscount. Come out with me. And on the way, think about what title you want to use. After all, for spring nobles, it's tradition to choose your own noble title.
I think you'll like mine.
And curtains drop. So let's end here tonight, guys. Let's go over our aspirations, please. Who wants to start?
I will.
Alrighty.
So I think I took a step towards becoming a winter knight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think I took a step towards crowning a spring monarch.
Step and resolve.
This was attended by cotton security, so I believe I took a step towards kicking the cotton out of them.
Sure.
I survived the new moon.
Yep.
And we played Gone in 60 Seconds, a live action play.
Yep. Alrighty. Who's next?
Prove difficult prey. I got away. I think that counts.
Yeah.
Steal a car. I think we did that. Do you guys remember that happening?
I think so. I think that happened, yeah.
So, gonna push for that one.
Yep.
I just got access to a lot of power that will help me secure the wealth I need for the pass of the exam for the bar. I think that's probably going to help out there.
Yeah. It sure will.
I don't think I can justify restore the rest of Mimsatch, so I think we're just going to have to walk past that one.
Not tonight, yeah.
And I think I'm a step in clear on Play Kingmaker because I just made a king.
Yeah, for sure. Step and clear.
Fuck yeah. 6 beats.
Kip.
All right. So, don't think I made it any steps towards stopping the rattling. Finding my fetch. I mean, I did fuck around with some of his rather public displays. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Finding the solution to the huntsman. Yeah, I think I definitely made progress towards that.
We can call this ballistic research.
Exactly.
Have you heard my new band, Ballistic Research?
It's a good album. So feeding the people, for that one, I definitely made some progress in that. It turns out that people do not like to be fed bullets.
Also,
No.
several people got to try dust this evening.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then, and by going by stacking on as many tilts and conditions as we could, I would definitely say we leaned on the scales a bit tonight.
Yeah. All right. Is that all of them?
Yeah.
That's the lot.
Alrighty. So, before we wrap up here, I just want to again thank Dork Tales for letting us stream on their channel during Onyx PathCon. We really appreciate it. If anybody who is here tonight who isn't normally with us but enjoyed it, Changeling, Viva Lost Vegas, is streams at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Saturdays on the Onyx Path's Twitch channel. That's Twitch TV, the Onyx Path. Give me just a sec, and I'll drop a link for anyone who wants it. And if you want to follow updates about this, since we post when we go live or any funky things happening like tonight's channel switch, you can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Chrononaut. DrChrononaut,
which we'll be throwing right into the chat right now. Thank you so much for joining us all tonight.
Right. And as I've already mentioned, Onyx PathCon is ongoing through the weekend. If you want to see this, the schedule, check out Onyx Path's Twitch channel that we linked in the chat. And one last time here, if anyone is interested in Onyx Paths, they came from the RPG Anthology Kickstarter. There's a link to that in the chat too. So thank you one more time for coming out tonight. We always appreciate anyone who comes to see us. And we all hope you have a good night.
Good night, everybody.